I welcome each of you present and watching. A quorum is present to transact the business of the division. Ms. Sorrells Laws and Mr. Marvin Harris both are excused from tonight's meeting. We will begin tonight's meeting with an invocation and pledge to the flag. Here to do the honors are two students from Gildersleeve Middle School, Selma Solomontovic and Maya Porter. First, Selma will come forward and provide the invocation. She will then be followed by Ms. Maya, who will lead us in the pledge. So, Ms. Selma, would you please come forward and tell us a little bit about yourself before you begin?
My name is Selma Solomonovich. I'm an 8th grader at Ethel Gildersleeve Middle School. I was born here in America, but my parents are from Bosnia and Herzegovina. My favorite hobby is playing soccer, and my future job is to be a lawyer.
Well, thank you.
Awesome.
All right.
So I came here tonight to tell you a speech that hopefully will inspire you and anyone else. When I feel like quitting, I think to myself, why? Why did I start in the first place? It's because I'm determined and driven to try something new, to be successful. Never let anyone tell you that you can't finish your goal. If someone told you you aren't meant to finish this, you tell them, yes, I am. I can do this whether you think I can or not. And in any given moment, you have two options, to step forward into growth or to step back into safety. You show them that you can go farther than they think. You are your only limit, not your teacher or your friend, you. If you ever make mistakes, forget them. You should always remember the lesson. But if you're not willing to learn anything, no one can help you. If you are determined to learn, no one can stop you. If you are ever doubtful, just remember how far you have come. Remember everything you have faced, all the battles you have won, and all the fears you had to overcome. So don't look back, you're not going that way. Accept what is, let go of what was, and have faith in what will be, because you always get up after a fall, and whether you run, walk, or crawl, you'll set your goal and achieve them all.
Awesome. Selma, thank you very much for that wonderful reading. Maya, would you please come forward? And before you begin, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Good afternoon. My name is Maya Porter. Some hobbies that I like are sports. I like to draw. I also like to help when it's needed. I attend Gildersleeve Middle School, and I am here to say the pledge. So can everybody rise for the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Again, thank you for participating in tonight's meeting. You both did a wonderful, excellent job. I know there's great things happening over there at Gildersleeve Middle School. Supporting Selma and Maya tonight are their family members and members of their family. Will you please stand to be recognized? The board appreciates the encouragement that you have given these two young ladies, and we thank you again for bringing them to tonight's meeting. So again, I would like to give both of them another round of applause. Okay, next on our agenda, I believe that we're going to have some recognitions. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And so, Dr. Parker, you and I want to come forward.
Okay. You want us down now? Or you're going to? All right. We're on tap.
Good evening. On behalf of the school board and the superintendent, I'm pleased to present this month's recognitions. Every school day, drivers in Newport News Public Schools and Newport News share the road with over 300 yellow school buses. These buses are driven by some of the school division's most dedicated employees who provide safe and efficient transportation for nearly 25,000 students. Being a bus driver is a great responsibility, and our next honoree has served students and the school division for 24 years. Recently, Temple Johnson was named the Newport News Bus Driver of the Year. Ms. Johnson, would you please come forward? Ms. Johnson is a great role model for other drivers. She is described as being dependable, dedicated, and hardworking. She is passionate about her students and is a very skilled driver. The criterion for a bus driver of the year is very stringent. Honorees must have outstanding attendance, excellent annual evaluations, and they must volunteer and maintain a great safety record. During her tenure with the school division, Ms. Johnson has served as a special needs driver, a key driver, a driver trainer, and 2 years ago she was a member of the first class of the Transportation Apprenticeship Program. In acknowledging Ms. Johnson's award, the leadership team noted that she embraces every task and work obligation successfully, and that the traits that her students respond to the most are her smile and the loving way in which she addresses her students. Ms. Johnson, congratulations on this well-deserved honor. The Transportation Department also recognizes newer drivers that have excelled at their jobs. Our next honoree also boasts outstanding attendance and great performance reviews. The Rookie Driver of the Year is Ben Jingles. Mr. Jingles, would you please come forward? Mr. Jingles joined the transportation team in September of 2013, and he brought with him a strong work ethic. Mr. Jingles takes great pride in being the first school employee and the last school employee that his students see every day, and he interacts with them very well. He greets each of his students and takes great interest in how their day is going. He also takes great pride in mentoring his students, with safety being a high priority on his bus. He takes great pleasure in his brand new propane bus. He worked hard and yearned for a propane bus, so much that the team began calling him Mr. Propane. Well, he earned Rookie Driver of the Year and that propane school bus, so congratulations. The role of our next honoree is essential to ensuring that our students arrive at school safely and securely. Bus assistants are responsible for maintaining the safety on the school bus by providing one-on-one attention to our special needs and younger students. These assistants are assigned to the most challenging bus routes, those that include young students, medically fragile students, and students with disabilities. This year, Frances Kearney was named Bus Assistant of Distinction. Ms. Kearney, would you please come forward? Ms. Kearney has distinguished herself over the past 15 years of dedicated service as a bus assistant. Each day, she's instrumental in ensuring that students are safe as they ride to and from school. She's responsible to tending to the students as they load, ride, and unload the school bus. She must know the bus route, assist in an emergency, operate all of the equipment on the bus, and be familiar with the needs of each student. The transportation leadership team noted that Ms. Kearney is professional and dependable, and that she has successfully assisted thousands of students during her career. Congratulations on being named Bus Assistant of Distinction. Each year, the Transportation Department also recognizes a bus assistant with 5 or fewer years of service with the Rookie Assistant of the Year Award. The awardee must have outstanding attendance and demonstrate extensive knowledge of the bus's equipment and safety and emergency procedures. The Rookie Assistant of the Year is Gardner Boyd Sr. Mr. Boyd, would you please come forward? Mr. Boyd works well with his students. He's had great annual evaluations and maintains all of the required training. He has a long and distinguished 23-year career with transportation. He began his tenure as a bus driver and has been a key player through many of the changes that have occurred in transportation. After 20 years as a driver, he transitioned to working as a bus assistant for students with special needs. He has assisted some of our high-need students with care and dedication. He's worked with numerous bus drivers and assistants throughout his career. His expertise and dedication are truly appreciated. Presently, Mr. Boyd, again, is working as a bus assistant, and we congratulate him on this honor. I think our next honoree was unable to join us, and that is the Mechanic of the Year, or as they call it in our shop, the Top Wrench. And this award recognizes excellence in work ethic, attendance, punctuality, and demeanor. And so the top mechanic for this year is Andy Ratcliffe. And I think he was Mr. Ratcliffe here. Okay. Well, we want to congratulate him as well. He helps support a team of mechanics who maintain over 300 school buses and 200 support vehicles. So we congratulate him as well. I could have you step up here so we can take a picture before you sit down, please. All right, let's have another round of applause for all of our transportation honorees of the year. I'd like to acknowledge if they have any family members or friends that are joining them tonight, would you please stand? Thank you. Thank you for joining us. And I'd also like to acknowledge our Supervisor of Transportation, James Riddick. Mr. Riddick? Step back. Thank you. Our custodians are the caretakers of our schools and offices. They ensure that our buildings and the surrounding grounds are safe and clean. Our dedicated custodians ensure that repairs and maintenance are routinely addressed, and they work tirelessly to ensure the success of athletic events, student performances, meetings, and special events. In a school, they play an even greater role, for they, along with our other dedicated support staff members, are the key elements of a successful educational environment, as they contribute to the health, safety, attitude, and pride of our students. Each summer, the Custodial Services Department conducts its annual Cleanest School campaign. School custodial teams are invited to participate in the contest to earn the Cleanest School designation. A team of supervisors from Plant Services visits each participating school and work site and randomly evaluates several classrooms, hallways, offices, and public spaces. They survey the areas expecting them to be dust-free with shiny floors, clean carpet, pristine glass, and no apparent maintenance problems. After the results are tabulated, the winners are announced, and this evening we're recognizing the recipients of our Cleanest School Awards for 2018. In the Alternative Schools category, the Aviation Academy custodial team earned top honors. Please join me in congratulating Reginald Pope. Mr. Pope. And Stephen Tilton, who was unable to join us. At the elementary school level, the Newsom Park Elementary School team earned top marks. Please join us in congratulating lead custodian Patrick Rhodes, Pierre Baptiste, Teresa Brown, Sean Lipscomb, and Larry Montgomery. I'm going to have you step in front and take a picture. Our next honorees represent the middle school level, and the team from Booker T. Washington earned the Cleanest School honor this year for the second year in a row. Please join me in congratulating lead custodian Larry Ligon. Mr. Ligon. Christopher Daniels. Makisha Parks. And Jimmy Rodriguez. Before you get comfortable, I'm going to ask you to step up front and get a picture. Okay.
So this is her friend, Isaiah. She was like, honey, she was like, Isaiah doesn't have any lunch, so I'm gonna buy him lunch. And I thought it was a girl, so I was like, that's a guy.
They just said, take this one and use it for next year when they win again.
Kind of sounded like a challenge to me. The team from Heritage High School earned top honors in the high school category. They're also a repeat winner. They won last year and they've won in previous years. So please congratulate lead custodian Tammy Davis. Peggy Adams. Demetrius Battle. Ernest Johnson. Timothy Johnson. Shirley Jones. Earl Mason. George Neal. Donald Page. Jada Singleton. And Samuel Smith. All of the custodians that were honored tonight keep their schools safe and clean, and they're an important part of the team that supports and assists our students and staff every day. So to all of you, we thank you for your commitment and congratulate you on this well-deserved honor.
Hey, Gary. Why don't we recognize Mike Mullen before everybody leaves? Recognize Mike Mullen before everybody leaves. Next November, not this one, but next one.
I would like to acknowledge and recognize the friends and family that are joining all of our honorees tonight for our custodial teams. Would you please stand? Thank you. And also, thank you, Dr. Callender. I also wanted to acknowledge all of the principals that have joined them this evening, too. We also want to acknowledge Marcella Bullock, our Custodial Services Supervisor, and Keith Webb, our Executive Director of Plant Services. Thank you. It's a great team of folks. October is National Bullying Prevention Month, a time when all Newport News schools join schools across the state and the nation to bring awareness to all forms of bullying. While students and staff in Newport News work together to create welcoming school environments and to prevent and curb bullying behaviors year-round, this month there's a special emphasis on standing up for one another. Virginia Governor Ralph Northam has signed a proclamation designating October as Virginia School Boards Association Bullying Prevention Month. I'll highlight some of the proclamation. Whereas school bullying is a significant problem in the United States and Virginia, and whereas more than 20% of the youth in the United States are estimated to be involved in bullying each year, either as a bully or as a victim, and whereas bullying can assume many forms, including verbal, physical, and in cyberspace, and can happen on and off school grounds, and whereas it is important for Virginia parents, students, teachers, and school administrators to be aware of bullying and to encourage discussion of the problem as a school community. And now, therefore, I, Ralph S. Northam, do hereby recognize October 2018 as Virginia School Boards Association Bullying Prevention Month in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and I call this observance to the attention of all of our citizens. Later this evening, the Youth Development Team will present an overview of how our students are standing against bullying and other negative behaviors. With that said, we will again congratulate all of tonight's honorees, and at this time we'll take about an 8-minute break so that our honorees and their family and friends may leave if they desire to do so. During this time, our viewing audience will have an opportunity to view this month's School Board Spotlight. So we'll stand in recess for about 8 minutes. Thank you.
Good.
Every October, caring citizens across the world join together to keep our youth safe from bullying. During National Bullying Prevention Month, Newport News Public Schools is taking a unified stand against bullying. Our school system realizes the negative effects of this national epidemic, including school absenteeism, poor academic performance, and low self-esteem. Whether students are verbally insulted, physically assaulted, excluded from activities, or become the subject of rumors, bullying can happen at school and in neighborhoods. And unfortunately, bullying can take place in the sanctuary of our homes through cyberbullying across social media. Throughout Newport News Public Schools, students, staff, families, and community partners work together every day to create a safe and nurturing learning environment. With a commitment to assisting every student in becoming successful, the Youth Development Team has created Stand Together for Youth, an intentional approach to promoting positive school culture and discouraging bullying and harassing behavior at every grade level. STAND empowers our youth to become the positive change they want to see. Instead of becoming bystanders and watching bullying happen, our students play a critical role in leading their peers to build each other up. Expect Respect is a bullying prevention student-led initiative that establishes a school-wide expectation for common respect among students and staff. Bloom is a district-wide empowerment program to equip female middle school students to become global leaders. And Project Inclusion allows high school teams to ensure all students feel as though they belong. During the month of October, our schools will be involved in even more activities aimed at promoting a culture of caring that reduces bullying. Unity parades, anti-bullying messages on morning shows, classroom activities that focus on kindness, and positive artwork and posters are just a few of the methods many schools will incorporate into their daily lessons. In addition, Parents Against Bullying will visit several schools to help provide solutions to bullying. And many schools will celebrate Red Ribbon Week at the end of October, giving students a voice in saying no to drugs, alcohol, bullying, and other bad choices. These programs and activities illustrate how safety is a top priority in Newport News Public Schools, along with the commitment of maintaining a safe learning environment for every student.
For the second year, Newport News Public Schools students were invited to go camping during the summer to explore their interests in depth. Spark Camps, an extension of the summer program for arts, recreation, and knowledge, offered 1- and 2-week camps in August with 11 unique themes and educational experiences. 675 rising 3rd through 8th grade students chose to participate this past summer. There was no cost for students to enroll and even included free transportation to each camp along with a free lunch. Team sports, financial literacy, French artwork, kayaking, leadership skills, music, and wooden boat building were just a few of the fascinating themes students were able to explore. Kayaking was hosted by Washington Middle School's talented marine science educators, while the remaining 10 camps were organized by community partners and local businesses. At each camp, students worked closely with professionals and volunteers on hands-on activities to spark their growth and creativity. Spark's summer enrichment camps were a huge success this year, thanks to the devotion of community partners and the interest of our students to advance their own knowledge. Nowhere else can such a range of topics be offered to elementary and middle school students to achieve success in the summer months.
Newport News Public Schools continue to make progress through academic success, thanks to the dedication of our talented educators and the hard work of our students. 26 schools are fully accredited this year. That's 5 more schools than last school year, and a consistent improvement from 11 accredited schools in 2014. All 6 high schools have been accredited for 2 years in a row, while 17 elementary schools are now fully accredited. 12 additional schools are accredited with conditions, recognizing students' significant academic growth beyond overall performance. Superintendent Dr. George Parker expressed how proud he is of our students and staff, while also realizing that the work isn't done until every student is successful. Teaching from a revised curriculum with new achievement goals and extended learning programs in place, educators in Newport News Public Schools are focused on student achievement at all grade levels. And our students are responding by creating a culture of success in Newport News Public Schools.
For 32 years now, Summer Institute for the Arts has provided the resources, inspiration, and creative environment for students to thrive artistically. Housed at Woodside High School, Summer Institute for the Arts is an intensive 6-week program allowing students to focus on their growth in dance, theater arts, music, or visual arts. After submitting portfolios and auditioning, 88 rising 8th through 12th grade students were accepted to participate this past summer. With over 20 talented educators guiding the summer program, students were fully immersed in their craft to further develop their unique talents. Invited guest artists, musicians, and field trips beyond the classroom walls help spark creativity and enhance the students' abilities to analyze, interpret, and evaluate the arts. This multifaceted approach also gave students the chance to explore future career pathways in their fields of study. On the last day, all of the student artists, musicians, singers, dancers, and actors combined their talents for a final performance. Visual arts students displayed their collective artwork for families and school staff, while performing arts students took to the stage, showcasing their talents around the theme Timeless Classics. Upon successful completion of the summer program, Newport News Public Schools students received 1 weighted high school credit. The experiences and opportunities that Summer Institute for the Arts offers these budding artists will continue to shape their artistic growth and creative pathways.
Welcome back, and we hope that you enjoyed our school board spotlight. During our meeting, we provide time for the public to address the board. These are scheduled at the early part of the agenda, and again, also toward the end of the meeting. The board is very interested in ideas and opinions of the public, and we wishes to give the public an opportunity for input on the operations and policies of the school division. However, this is an opportunity for the board to listen to your comments, and as such, the board will not engage in dialogue with the speaker or the audience. Speakers with specific questions will be referred to the superintendent or the appropriate office. So that everyone who desires to address the board may have time to speak, we will ask you to comply with our 3-minute time limit. As you begin your comments, a green light comes on. The yellow light signals that you have 30 seconds remaining, and the red light in the beep will ask you to wrap up your comments. That being said, we thank you for that. So as your name is called, please come forward. And so we do have some cards this evening. And in particular, we have a special guest with us today. And we have Delegate Mike Mullen from the Virginia House of Delegates, 93rd District, member since 2016, representing Newport News, Williamsburg, James City, and York counties. The committees he's assigned to is the Court of Justice, Counties, Cities, Towns, Selected Committee on School Safety, Commerce, and Labor. Delegate Mike Mullen, welcome.
Well, thank you so very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you so very much, Dr. Parker. It's an honor and privilege to be able to be here with you today to talk a little bit of why I am Newport News Public School proud. It is difficult at times to be able to get 140 members of the General Assembly to agree on just about anything, let alone being able to commemorate the wonderful achievements during the 2017-2018 year here in Newport News Public Schools. And I wanted to take a moment to be able to talk a little bit about that. This past year, we were able to have 21 schools, including all of our high schools here in Newport News, that were fully accredited. Which I'm particularly proud of, and thankful for all the hard work that you and all of the members of Newport News Public Schools have been doing over the course of last year. Jenkins Elementary actually achieved full accreditation after being denied 2 years prior. That's a pretty great accomplishment, and the level to which improvement has been shown in just a short amount of time is impressive. 4 schools that had previously been unaccredited achieved partial accreditation, showing the efforts and the work that's been happening over the course of the last year and a half. Students across the district recorded gains on the standards of learning during 2016, 2017. And, as many of you are aware here in the audience, or as the school board is already aware, we have new standards of accreditation which have been implemented this year, which have been more holistic in terms of their approach to determining what is the appropriate way of accrediting our schools, and in particular has taken into account the efforts in improving a school that have been made over the course of the prior year. And so in taking into those new standards of accreditation, we have 5 additional schools this year that have been accredited, bringing our total, I believe, please correct me, 26?
26.
There you go. And, we have 12 other schools that are accredited with conditions under the new standards. It is an incredible thing to be able to see the work that has been done over the course of the last year and a half here in Newport News Public Schools. And so to commemorate that, to honor that, and to say thank you for all the work that you've done. All 140 members of the Virginia General Assembly came together this year to be able to put together this resolution in thanks for all the work that you have done. And so I wanted to take a moment to tell you, both as a parent of students here in Newport News Public Schools, but also as a member of the Commonwealth, how proud we are of being a part of Newport News Public Schools. So thank you for all the hard work that you've done.
Thank you. Delegate Mike Mullen, and you can come back anytime with, with those types of words and comments. Again, I personally would like to give applause to all the staff and teachers and all those folks who were on today, because all of those folks actually help us achieve what we're achieving. So how about a round of applause for all those folks? Okay, next up we have Miss Caroline Stripes. Is that correct?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Dr. Parker, and the rest of the school board. Thank you for having me. I'm here tonight to discuss the recent restructuring of the gifted services at the elementary level. I'm curious how much information has been shared with building administrators, teachers, and families about the new program design, delivery model, and more concerning if it's in compliance with the district's current local plan on file with the VDOE. Each school division must have a local gifted plan approved by its school board and submitted to the VDOE. This document is valid for 5 years, and Newport News' local plan is up for renewal at the end of 2018. This important document starts with a statement of philosophy and an operational definition. Next, program goals and objectives need to be determined. Screening, referral, identification, and service delivery procedures need to be developed, and all of this needs to match the philosophy, the definition, and the goals. This is definitely a very cumbersome task, but we have such wonderful timing with a new superintendent and some newly elected school board members to be a part of this important revision process. I've just given you guys a pamphlet that I printed off the VDOE site, specifically listing the school board roles and responsibilities in gifted programs. As you can see, one of the options that you have, and one that I would like you all to consider, is appointing a local advisory committee, or perhaps appointing some committee members to join the already existing gifted advisory board. These appointments would be for all future discussions about revisions to the local plan and to evaluate the extent to which the plan is being implemented effectively. However, since time is of the essence for the current revision, I wanted to urge you all to form a panel of stakeholders to assist with the revision of the local plan. This panel should include, obviously, Dr. Parker, members of the school board, chief academic officer, supervisor of gifted education, director of student advancement, supervisor of testing, administrators at gifted sites, endorsed gifted teachers, parents of gifted students, and any other professionals that have expertise with gifted learners and the twice exceptional learner, which we have several. I would also like to encourage one of you to perhaps attend the next Gifted Advisory Committee board meeting and hold a roundtable with current parents of gifted students to hear their concerns and requests. You may also gain valid insight into key issues as well as suggestions and solutions by reaching out to current gifted educators in our district or the ones who just recently departed but still care very deeply for our students, gifted students. Finally, I'm asking at the very least that when the local gifted plan comes across your desk for your approval, that you will take a longer look at it than you would have before and give careful consideration to if it truly meets the high expectations that Newport News Public Schools historically has for programs it values. And I hope that it still values its gifted learners. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, we have Rhonda Wagner.
Good evening, school board members and Dr. Parker. How are you? Tonight I come to you with some information. You may have noticed that across the country, public education and workers' rights have been under attack. This lack of funding affects everything from class sizes, desperately needed resources, and even worker morale. Something has to change. We have to change. Educators across the Commonwealth are leading that change with the Wear Red for Public Ed campaign. So where does the red come from? On January 4th, 2011, a group of Florida teachers and parents encouraged everyone to wear red to protest their state government's controversial education proposals. In fact, that was the chosen color for Arizona, West Virginia, and Kentucky. But why red? There is a reason teachers and other union workers wear red to express solidarity. On August 15th, 1989, Jerry Horrigan, Chief Steward of the Communications Workers of America, Local 1103, was killed on a picket line in Valhalla, New York. Horrigan was taking part in a strike against the now-defunct telephone company NYNEX Corp. when a driver ran him over. In remembrance of Horrigan, union members across the country wear red. Now, in education, that symbolism behind the color red has broadened. The grassroots movement, Wear Red to Support Public Ed, aims to push for more and proper funding for public education. Instead of being in the black or fiscally sound, public schools are in the red, fiscal crisis. In the words of Eduardo Galeano, I don't believe in charity, I believe in solidarity. And I believe the Commonwealth needs to pay its fair share. I'm asking everyone to support public ed, to join this movement, and to wear red for ed every Wednesday to send a message to our General Assembly that we want equitable funding for our schools, because frankly, our students deserve more. We have a gift for the school board members, Dr. Parker and Mr. Wright, of a red shirt that you can wear every Wednesday, wherever you are, to show your support. And Delegate Mullins, I expect to see you in red.
Well, thank you very much. And we're sure to wear those red on every Wednesday, is that correct?
Yes.
I'll make sure I wear a red tie. And of
That
course,
works. Thank you so much for your time.
thank you. I'm glad that, on the side note, that red is the color in. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Next, we have Mrs. Beverly Becker.
I talk really fast, so stay with me. Good evening. I'd like to share some incredible work that is happening here in Newport News Public Schools. Last year, my child was blessed to be taught by a master teacher, Paige Randall, and I'd recommend that you visit her classroom because it's worthy of recognition and can be used as a standard of excellence. But unfortunately, you won't be able to visit her classroom any longer because just 2 weeks ago, she felt that she had no other choice but to resign. And our division, we let her walk away. I was beyond shocked when I found out that she left because I know she would never abandon her children unless she felt she had no other choice. I also know another highly qualified CNU student in her first year of teaching who chose to work in Newport News because she believed in the vision and mission of this division and felt called here. On week 3, I received a text message saying, "I'm pretty sure I'm going to quit." What these two ladies have in common is happening all over our division. This is not the only story. Both teachers have extreme discipline situations in their classroom, and when they've asked for support, it was not there. The new teacher had a child who disrupts her room all day, every day. When he punched another child in the face, the administrators told her, "Put it on a Google Doc," and never even spoke to the child about his behavior. The other children in the classroom were terrified, and when the teacher asked for him to be removed so that she could reset and recalibrate her class to include herself, they denied her. And they finally said, "Just send him to another room." We have to be better to our teachers. If we say that we love our children, we have to love our teachers. We cannot expect them to deal with students in crisis alone. More and more teachers are experiencing children in crisis, and yet they don't feel they have supports to deal with the reality. And if we continue this, we won't have any teachers left. Are we sweeping children under the rug? A teacher told me that this year her school hid over 10 children during administrative walkthrough so that people such as yourselves wouldn't see them in disarray. I was appalled, yet not surprised. I'm also sad to report that the new teacher can see dysfunction a mile away and has already decided only 20 plus days in that she will no longer work for Newport News Public Schools next year. She's talented. She is an asset to our community and she wants to work with children, but she can no longer do it. And these aren't the only two stories. I only have 3 minutes. I was able to read the letter that Mrs. Randall's families were sent regarding her resignation, and I noticed the division's tagline at the very bottom that said "Smart, Safe Schools," and it made me laugh because at this situation, it did not prioritize supporting smart teachers, nor did it support having a safe school. Some children's only chance is right here in these classrooms. It is our job to advocate and fight for them. I personally teach about trauma and resilience, and I can tell you we have to respond to children's needs rather than reacting to their behaviors. Does suspension work? We need to ask the question, what has happened to you, rather than asking, what's wrong with you? These children are worth us fighting for. So, do we have a smart, safe school system? If you say that we're innovative like we have always championed and said we are on this peninsula, I dare say that we call our government officials, we call the DEOE, our local physicians, and anyone else, to include myself, that will come to the table to innovate, because if we don't create solutions, we are simply writing children's futures for them. Thank you for hearing me today.
Thank you. Thank you. Miss Jamie Bazemore.
Good evening.
Mr. Chairman, members of the school board, Mr. Superintendent, it's always a pleasure to be here. We've come a long way since our first appearance almost a year ago on the Huntington Middle School issue. We appreciate all that has been done to ensure that Huntington remains a viable education source in Southeast Newport News. I am proud to be a member of the Stakeholders Committee planning for Huntington, and I thank you all for your confidence in that. I want to impress upon you the importance of these next few months. They are the most critical in our goal to obtain funding for Huntington.
always at the end of a city council meeting, someone comes up to me and says, we don't have any plans, we haven't seen any plans, we haven't talked to anyone, we need to see something, we don't know what's going on. So we want to, I see your face like, that can't be true. So we just want to encourage, once again, communication, the joint meetings, you all getting together on everything, I guess, relating to our school system. If we have to beg, I'm willing to do it. If you want to send me, I'll go. I just want to say thank you for continuing working on the plans and for just continuing on. And as I always say, Huntington shall rise again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any more cards? There are no more cards? Then we will move on to item number 3, our consent agenda. Item 3.01, minutes and work session, September 18th, 2018. 3.02, the minutes from our special meeting, September 18, 2018. 3.03, minutes from the regular session, September 18, 2018. 3.04, financial reports, child nutrition services, September 2018. Revenue and expense, September 2018. And then, of course, we have the personnel report, 3.05. And then earlier today, the 3.06 superintendent's annual goals for 2018-2019. And again, we had, do we get a motion for?
So moved.
Second.
You heard the motion and you heard the second. Time for the question.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to
Yes.
make a comment in
Yes.
terms of the superintendent's goals. I
Absolutely.
thought that these are a great set of goals to start from. They reflect a lot of the discussions that we've had. I appreciate the integration of a lot of the goals that we've discussed, especially I wanted to highlight the decrease, the goal to decrease the percentage of students who are removed from instruction, those at-risk students, that goal for 5% reduction. I think that's to be commended, really putting our money where our mouth is in terms of something that we're going to work towards diligently. And as well, in terms of our SPARK program, bringing measures and achievements in the SPARK program through the summer so that we can be competitive and go after further grants in the future. So I wanted to say that I appreciate the integration of those goals into what we're doing. So we're attacking summer in particular and attacking that school to prison pipeline issue that we talk so much about.
Any other question? There being none, Ms. Simpson, please call a roll.
Mr. Hunter?
4.
Ms. Simons? 4. Dr. Best? 4. Mr. Brown?
4.
And Mr. Ely?
4.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay. And next,
Introduce
oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Dr. Parker, I think the floor is yours.
So, Mr. Chair, now that we've passed the personnel agenda, I have some promotions to recognize who hopefully are in the audience tonight. I would like to introduce Patricia Skaggs. If you could stand when your name is called. Patricia, the new secondary assistant principal at Dozier Middle School. Ms. Skaggs is currently serving as lead teacher and physical education teacher at Dozier Middle School. Ms. Skaggs has been with Newport News Public Schools for 22 years. Prior to coming to Newport News, Ms. Skaggs worked as a teacher in Charleston, South Carolina. So we'd like to congratulate her. And would your family, if you have any family members in attendance, would they please stand as well? So congratulations. Okay. I would also like to introduce Mary Hardesty, and the new secondary assistant principal at Denby High School. Thank you for being here tonight. Ms. Hardesty is currently serving as a math specialist with Virginia Beach City Public Schools. Ms. Hardesty has also served as a math teacher in Shenandoah County, Suffolk, and Virginia Beach, and Newport News Public Schools. So well-traveled. If you have any family members, please stand and be recognized. And we thank you for being here tonight as well, and congratulations.
And our final promotion tonight is Alan Washington, the new elementary assistant principal at Kiln Creek Elementary School. Congratulations, and thank you for being here. Mr. Washington is currently serving as a guidance counselor at Warwick High School. Mr. Washington has worked the past 4 years in Newport News as both an elementary and high school counselor. Prior to coming to Newport News, Mr. Washington worked for Henrico County Public Schools. If you have any family members, please have them stand as well, and thank you for being here. I see your wife is recording in the back, but thank you all for being here tonight. And that concludes our promotions on the personnel agenda, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Well, how about one more round of applause for those new promotions? We will move the agenda to item number 4, action items. 4.01, hold harmless agreement for aircraft donation to Denby High School. And I think we're going to have a presentation by Mr. Brian Nichols. And basically, I'm going to let you.
Oh, I was going to let you roll with it, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Chairman Hunter, Dr. Parker, members of the board. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. We do have Dr. Blow in the audience from Denby High School, and then Dr. Aaron Smith, Program Administrator from Aviation Academy. So if you have questions that are not on these slides, I'm going to defer to the experts on this one. But what you have in your packet is a hold harmless agreement for Denby's Aviation Academy, and it presents a great opportunity for us. We have an airplane donation. We have several airplanes at the Aviation Academy, and we're actually building 2 airplanes. So this adds to our fleet. I don't know if airplanes are fleets or not, but let's go with that. So it's an Avid Flyer Mark IV Speedwing. So it's a private donation that is offered to us. The kit was purchased in 1991. Took over 850 hours to build. So it's sort of a culmination of what our kids are actually building now, different plane, different models, so forth. But really that sort of extensive work. It first flew in 1993. One of the questions you may ask, we will not be flying it in any capacity. We do offer pilot training, but it is virtual. So at the Aviation Academy, one of the things you may be wondering is what will we do with it? So it is added to our other airplanes where we can compare different types of engines, the weight, balance, wingspans, instruments, and so forth. So it gives us kids a lot of opportunities. And the airplane would be housed at our rented hangar space that we have at the airport. So it fits in the existing work that we have. So it's important to show you pictures of the planes and kind of see what this hold harmless agreement has in it. So you see several pictures of the plane. The gentleman that's in the plane in the bottom left does not come with the airplane, but it was the best picture we had just so you can kind of see the whole thing. So you see kids have a real opportunity to work up close with a plane, with an aircraft, and be able to do a lot of research around it as they're constructing their own planes at the Aviation Academy. So what you have is a hold harmless agreement, which, as you see in your package, just says that we would accept the donation and we would not, we would hold harmless if anything were to occur with the plane once we take receipt of it. So we're very excited about the opportunity. So that's the action that we're requesting tonight. The addition of this plane just continues our career readiness path at the Aviation Academy, and the hold harmless agreement is recommended for approval. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you have around it or defer them to experts in the audience.
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, just for clarification, so we have a citizen that has donated an aircraft to our school division for the purposes of children furthering their education, and all they've asked for in return is a hold harmless?
Yes, sir. That is correct. That is correct. So it's a wonderful opportunity for us.
Is Mr. Bruce Bowman in the audience tonight?
I'm sorry?
Is the donor in the audience tonight? He's not?
No, Mr. Bowen is not in the audience tonight. So, but we'll certainly thank him for, pending action, would thank him for the generous gift and the expertise that he's provided.
Ask, is there any plans, Mr. Chairman, to send a certificate or a letter to Mr. Bowman?
I think
thanks for his donation.
I think that.
Yeah. And this is actually his plane he built, and so he's got a lot of expertise that he can lend to it as well. So.
That's good. Did we get a motion for action for approval?
Mr. Chairman, I move to vote on the motion of hold harmless agreement for aircraft donation to Denby High School.
You heard the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
You heard the motion in a second. Time for the question. There being none, Ms. Hinton, please call the roll.
Mr. Hunter.
4.
Ms. Simons.
4.
Dr. Best.
4.
Mr. Brown.
4.
Excuse me. And Mr. Ely.
4.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Okay, our next item, we're going to move to reports and information. Youth Development Bullying Awareness Initiative. And we have Ms. Bridget Adams. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Good. And you will enlighten us on this report, is that
I'll
correct?
do my absolute best.
Thank you.
Good evening, Chairman Hunter, members of the board, Dr. Parker. It's great to be here with you again tonight to tell you about our ongoing efforts to create positive school culture and to discourage bullying and harassing behaviors in Newport News Public Schools. In Newport News Public Schools, we use a multi-tiered response to bullying to provide the interventions and supports that students need. We believe it is important to proactively teach all students how to behave in a safe, respectful, and responsible way with the same intensity that we teach math and science. We also recognize that some students require more targeted instruction, and still others may need individualized interventions to help them succeed. In addition to this tiered system approach to bullying prevention, we believe that many of the goals that we set as a school division could not be achieved without intentionally involving our students in the work. Bullying is essentially a student-to-student problem. And you may remember in the spring of 2016, STAND was launched as a student-led campaign focused specifically on creating and maintaining a positive school climate and consistently working together to discourage harassment among peers. To encourage everyone to commit to this work, we took an already outstanding logo and personalized it for each one of our schools. And this was not just because we thought highly of the logo, but we really wanted people to connect with the ways in which we wanted them to stand as a school division. So STAND was meant to be a movement, not just an event. And today our students, our teachers, our school leaders, and the community continue to stand ready to learn, to stand out as leaders, and to stand together against bullying and harassment in Newport News Public Schools. So this evening, I have the pleasure of sharing with you what STAND looks like in action and answer the question, how do our students stand? How do our teachers stand? How do our school leaders stand? And how do our community partners stand against bullying and harassment? First, it's no secret that bullying is an international problem, and I think we heard this earlier tonight. Across the country, 30% of students participate in bullying either as a perpetrator or a recipient, and 160,000 students miss school every single day because of bullying. So it's really important that our students in Newport News Public Schools are empowered to address bullying. Their voice is critical to our efforts to create safe and welcoming schools. So right now, we're going to hear directly from one of our students how NNPS students stand against bullying. Oh, got a little video.
In middle school, and I'm empowered to stand up for others, to help those children who are having the same problem as I did of not being able to be themselves or scared of bullies or just afraid of confrontation. I am empowered to help them and show them the way of beauty and wonder of just being yourself. And I don't want them to make the same mistakes as I did, as changing myself to get close to these cool kids. You don't have to do that. If they don't see the real you, then that's their problem. But you have friends here. You have people who care. Just be yourself.
Jordan is one of our trained Expect Respect middle school leaders. Expect Respect is a student-led positive behavior intervention and support initiative which was piloted in our middle schools late last year. Expect Respect provides students with a process for responding to bullying and harassment when it occurs. Most bullying prevention programs ignore the role of the bystander and have an initial effect but really no sustained impact. One of the biggest challenges for students is knowing what to do when bullying occurs. So with Expect Respect, students develop a school-wide stop word, which when heard lets everyone know that a line has been crossed, prompting students and staff to make a decision and to take action. The goal of Expect Respect is to teach students how to respectfully interrupt socially aggressive behavior. Full implementation of Expect Respect requires continual training and retraining of students and staff, but over time, we're confident that it will prove effective in changing our school culture. As you heard earlier, in the month of October and beyond, throughout the school year, our students lead various bullying prevention initiatives designed to advance our STAND goals. Like Expect Respect in our middle schools, our elementary students across the division lead kindness campaigns, and Project Inclusion teams in our high schools implement student-designed action plans to encourage inclusion and a sense of belonging for all students. As part of National Bullying Prevention Month, all of our schools develop detailed calendars of events and activities for the month of October that would help to communicate the meaning and purpose of STAND. So on October 1st, we began STAND Month by celebrating STAND Day in recognition of World Bullying Prevention Day. Across the school division, our teachers, staff, and students wore blue in solidarity to demonstrate their commitment to stand against bullying behavior. A complete list of STAND Month activities scheduled at each school can be found on the Bullying Prevention page of the Newport News Public Schools website. Understanding that social media is the most common way that people tell their stories, also during STAND Month, our schools, students, and families were encouraged to post their STAND activities on various social media sites using the hashtag StandNNPS. So we've heard how our students stand against bullying. Now we'll take a look at the important role our teachers play in promoting positive school culture.
About relationships, and one thing I can tell you about our students here at Nelson is our students feel loved.
I try to take her positive energy and use it with me and then use it on other people.
So building the relationships and seeing the level of engagement and the commitment from our staff members and our mentors towards these kids is what makes all the difference.
You actually get to have fun, but you're being kind, and there's like no bullying or no any people that's saying mean stuff, because it's like we're all like a big family giving one big giant hug.
We're really fortunate that in every school there's a dedicated youth development lead who serves as a resource to school staff in promoting positive experiences, relationships, and environments for all students. Our teachers and staff play an integral role in our efforts to create positive environments. In addition to their commitment to building positive classroom cultures, they support STAND principals every day in their instructional practice by volunteering as mentors or club advisors for the nearly 700 sports, clubs, and activities available to our secondary students, and by working diligently together to ensure that every child is connected to the school community. Our school and division leaders have the ultimate responsibility of driving culture across the division. Let's hear how they stand every day against bullying and harassment.
To empower our older students to take a leadership role in addressing bullying within our schools. They have the opportunity to join clubs, activities, participate in events that allow them to speak on their own behalf, that allow them to give awareness to their fellow classmates, and also involve the staff members and work as a supportive team so that they feel comfortable in sharing information. We make a concerted effort to involve all team members in supporting the child that's bullied, involving their parents, providing them the support that they need, while also educating the bully and teaching them better ways to stand with our Newport News family.
The Virginia Tiered System of Support is the framework that we use to teach behavior across our school division. Dedicated staff meet monthly to learn evidence-based strategies for positive behavior development and then share what they learned with their school community, including students, staff, and families. In addition, we regularly monitor discipline and other data to inform our practice. Our Rights and Responsibilities Handbook defines bullying, provides information on ways to report bullying, such as the bullying hotlines in middle and high school, and describes staff responsibilities when bullying occurs. Throughout the year, we also conduct a number of activities designed to advance STAND goals. Next, we will share how our community partners stand with us against bullying. We're truly grateful for the number of individuals and organizations who work with us to create positive environments for our students. One organization is Parents Against Bullying.
Community partner, Parents Against Bullying, our mission is to continue to spread awareness, be that bridge of the gap between the students, the parents, the community, the school system as a whole, just to walk hand in hand to just talk about the importance of knowing what bullying is. So we give workshops, school tours, pep rallies, just that one-on-one support if need be. Whatever it is that we can do, that's what we're doing here as Parents Against Bullying Virginia to make sure that we are continuously being that support and that awareness group. We have to increase the communication so that we can help speak up and speak out against bullying to stop it.
CEO of Parents Against Bullying, Shantae Miller, is here with us this evening. I'd like to ask her to stand so that we can recognize the work she does in our schools and with our students, staff, and families to address bullying. Some of the ways in which our community partners stand with us include conducting school assemblies and special community events, facilitating workshops for students and staff, and supporting our families. Companies like Newport News Shipbuilding, for example, whose employees mentor in our schools, and Youth Volunteer Corps of Hampton Roads, which connects our students with community service opportunities, provide an invaluable layer of support and help us to advance our STAND goals and our youth development work. So we understand that no bullying prevention strategy can be effective without a sound reporting and resolution process. Everyone, including students, parents, teachers, administrators, and support staff, such as our student support specialists, security officers, and bus drivers, play an important role in our efforts to prevent bullying. This chart depicts the process which should take place when bullying occurs. Whenever bullying is reported, the parents of all students involved are contacted. Although Virginia Code requires that this be done within 5 days, Newport News Public Schools policy is to do this within 24 hours or as soon as possible after the report is received. All reports of bullying, regardless of the source, are documented and investigated by an administrator who conducts a bullying assessment to determine whether the incident qualifies as bullying or not. Bullying involves unwanted aggressive behavior that happens repeatedly in situations where there is an imbalance of power between the person being harmed and the person or persons causing harm. If it is determined that bullying has occurred, an incident referral is created. If a crime has been committed, our school resource officer is notified. The administrator determines the appropriate action to be taken and then applies discipline in accordance with the Newport News Public Schools Rights and Responsibilities Handbook. The family of the student or students being disciplined are informed, as well as the family of the student who was harmed, that the matter has been addressed. It is very important that communication and follow-up continue between parents and the school to ensure that bullying does not continue. We understand that any established practice is only as good as its application, which is why we continue to evaluate the effectiveness of our bullying prevention efforts and to review the reporting and resolution process. We are also researching technologies such as smartphone and device apps, which will allow for anonymous electronic reporting. We continue to train, expect respect in our middle schools, and plan to expand into our elementary schools while also empowering Project Inclusion to lead our anti-bullying efforts across the school division. We also expect to launch our student wellness program, which will promote physical, social, and emotional well-being and increase opportunities for peer mentors and mediators. Lastly, we will integrate restorative practices into our bullying prevention approach. Tonight, we've explored how our students, teachers, school leaders, and community partners stand together against bullying and harassment, and to promote positive school culture across Newport News Public Schools. In closing, we would like to invite you and the community to stand with us at the 3rd annual Stand Night at Todd Stadium on October 26th at 7 p.m. This event provides all Newport News Public School students, staff, and the community with an opportunity to stand together against bullying during a special halftime activity demonstrating our commitment to building bully-free schools. That concludes our report on bullying prevention in Newport News Public Schools. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Mr. Ely.
I just want to thank you and your team for this marvelous presentation that you put together. And also thank Shawnee Miller, all you do in the community with Parents Against Bullying. You see Shawnee everywhere. You see at the mall, you see anywhere you go, you're going to see a Parents Against Bullying. And that's very good to remind students and families that there is help out there, not just in the school, as well as in the community. I do have a question for you, though.
Sure.
The bullying hotline that we have, is it a live person that's operating the line?
No, the callers leave a message, but those messages are checked regularly.
Okay, how often are they checked, ma'am?
Every day.
Every day,
They're
okay.
checked every day.
Maybe that's something we can look towards having in the future, someone that's actually a live line, because could save a life if a child is being bullied in this field, get to the point where they're just suicidal, because suicide is definitely on the rise among school-age children. So maybe that could be a helpline that's also used, where if someone is just at that breaking point that is being bullied, they can call that line and actually, or have the option to push 0 to talk to someone if you're feeling that need, that you're just at your breaking point.
Okay. And we are pursuing some electronic means for students to actually communicate that as well. Apps are really what the common mechanism is now for students across the country to report bullying. So we need to get into that. So we're looking very carefully at what will meet the needs of our students in our school division. But that's really what we want to look towards doing.
Well, thank you again. It was an excellent presentation.
Thank you.
And just for clarification, if we have a link to a suicide prevention hotline, I think that would be appropriate. Yeah, if God forbid, if a student has suicidal thoughts, I would hope that they get to a professional person as soon as possible. So I would not like to leave a message or to address it with the person that's not qualified. So a link maybe or a referral to the suicide hotline, to a professional suicide hotline, would probably be a better source or resource for that student or person.
Ms. Simons?
So under the section for teachers stand, you mentioned that there was some professional development, trauma-informed care. Can you describe the professional development and tell me what trauma-informed care would be?
I don't personally do that training. That training is done by our student advancement team, but trauma-informed care is really just examining what's happening in those students' lives. A lot of our students come to school every day. They bring things to the table that some of our teachers really need to be prepared to understand and recognize, so that we don't trigger and make things worse. So a lot of the work that we're doing in our professional development is getting teachers to recognize those triggers and to understand how to meet the needs of specific students.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other question? Ms. Jones?
I don't have a question, it's more of a comment. I remember last year when Expect Respect was launched, and Ms. Adams had asked me to be part of it, and I remember how excited I was. And I walked in and seeing how different the middle schoolers that we trained left, how excited they left, knowing that they really can do something to help prevent bullying and to help people they see. That was really awesome. And I remember even after the training running into, I believe it was a teacher, and it was like a casual conversation, and the teacher had brought up, she was like, oh, Expect Respect, and she had brought up the conference, and I remember being so excited because I was like, hey, I was part of that. And it's really like Ms. Adams, like what she's doing, what you're doing is really, really impacting the students. And from a student's perspective, getting that involved, not only training them, but having other students help to train, it's awesome just seeing what it's doing to the students on a level of impacting, and preventing bullying even more. It's reaching more students than just training the staff is, and I love that.
Thank you, Maria. This is culture work, and it's going to take time, but we were really excited to find that with the bullying hotline, calls to middle schools were down 46%, and calls overall were down 40% to the bullying hotline. So we're really excited about that we're moving in the right direction.
Yes, Dr. Best.
I too would like to commend you for a very informative presentation. Just as a former employee of the division, I was a part of the division when STEM was initiated, and to just see how it has grown and how the students have really embraced it, and the staff is to be commended. And I think it's a wonderful, wonderful program.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else?
Ms. Adams, for
All right, thank you so
wonderful
much.
report. Okay. Well, our next item, 5.02, we will hear from Ms. Holtz, Ms. Armstrong, and Mr. Hagan on a presentation of the new enhancements to the Newport News Wellness Program.
Good evening, Dr. Parker, Mr. Hunter, school board members. I'm really excited this evening to be in front of you to share really kind of an update to our staff wellness program. Some of you may recall that it's almost been 5 years since we started our staff wellness program here in Newport News. One of the questions, of course, you always ask is why you would implement a program like this, and we very much consider it a benefit for our staff members, and really twofold. One is the major value to the employee. A program like this allows employees to focus on being healthy. It helps staff know where their health risks are so that they can address them. It also provides the tools that are necessary to be able to accomplish a healthy lifestyle. And of course, the added benefit is a way to help reduce the cost of premiums for our employees. And as an employer, of course, the wellness plan, our program, is important because a healthier staff means more productive staff from day to day. Healthy staff are absent less, as well as healthy staff provide lower healthcare costs for everyone, for the employee as well as for the school division. And so all very important benefits for our staff as well as for the school division. To give you kind of a quick snapshot of how things have been going this past year for the 17-18 school year, we had right at 1,700 of our employees participate in the wellness program. That's about 60% of the employees that actually participate in our healthcare plan. And I think I've shared with you before, we have about 75% of our staff who actually use the healthcare program that we have here. So it gives you an idea of the participation rate, which we're real pleased with. The financial incentive for, of course, our employees is that it is a wellness credit that they receive each year when they participate, which is in the amount of $500. So it is a very nice investment. This evening I have Joanne Armstrong with me first, who is the supervisor of our benefits and compensation here in the school division, and she's going to take just a little bit of time and explain a little bit more about the details of the wellness program so you'll understand what it is the staff are participating in. And then we have a special guest who's going to share some really exciting new technology that we have available.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good
evening.
So Stephanie shared a little bit about our participation last year, and what I would like to talk with you about a little bit is how we reach that participation. So employees who participate have 4 components that they complete, and the first of those is a fairly quick and easy health survey that they do online in a secure portal. They do a biometric screening, which can be completed through their regular physical at their doctor's office, and we want to encourage staff to create a relationship with their primary care physician. So they're provided a form. They can get that completed when they go for their regular checkup. And then there's a list of preventive care items. We've asked that they report that they've completed 2 of those. There's a list to choose from, and they are gender specific. It's things like going for an eye exam, a dental exam. The regular checkup at the doctor counts for one of those preventive. And then other routine and recommended procedures like doing a mammogram or a prostate exam. The healthy activities and challenges are where the fun part comes in. Those run a wide range of activities, from running a 5K or maybe doing the One City Marathon. Or sometimes the work locations will create a challenge amongst themselves of who's done the most steps within a specified period of time. Or even going for a retirement seminar, because we have included financial wellness as part of the wellness program. So all of those activities can help reach that component. Because we're very committed to making sure that the participation is accessible to all employees and it's easily attainable for everyone, we've put a lot of supports in place for participation. We have employees that serve as wellness leads at each work site, and what they do is act as a liaison between the benefits office and that work location. And that helps us to make sure that communications that are going out do reach all employees. They're also there as a resource to the employees to help them if they're experiencing any challenges with the wellness portal or they need help with some of their participation. Each location also receives the eligibility for an $1,100 grant. They do have to complete an application and submit it for review, and it should be something that is in the spirit of the wellness program in order to be approved. And our employees are very creative with some of the things that they've submitted. We've had schools that have used their grant to pay for yoga instructors to come in and hold classes, or maybe a Zumba class. There's water filtration systems that they've brought into several sites to encourage employees to drink more water, things like that. The Wellness Expo is one of our proudest pieces of our wellness program. We consider that to be a one-stop shop for all of the wellness needs, and I'll talk a little bit more about what the Wellness Expo looks like in a minute. I also mentioned one of the components is the biometric screening that employees have to complete, and we understand that sometimes it's hard for employees to find that time to get to their doctor, even though we want to encourage that relationship. We put in place on-site biometric screening clinics to make it a little bit easier. Those are held between usually the middle of June and the full month of July, when those 10-month employees are not encumbered. And this past year we held 12 of those clinics, and they're at various locations from one end of the city to the other, and sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon, to make it, again, easily accessible. During those clinics, we also have a computer lab set up so that if they need help getting through that health survey, we can help them do that there as well. And then this past year, we added a mobile mammography unit that was at several of the biometric screening clinics, and we've continued that throughout the year. And as a matter of fact, they were in the parking lot here at Admin today. So we're excited about that piece as well. So these are some pictures from our Wellness Expo. When we hold this, it takes up pretty much the whole downstairs of Heritage High School. It's an opportunity for us to introduce some of the resources in the community to our employees. It's for employees and their families to come out, and we have vendors there that run the gamut from nutritional experts to fitness. We hold demonstrations for different fitness classes. There's Zumba, yoga, and because the kids are there, we have the inflatable obstacle course and other activities for them to participate in as well. And as you can see, the mobile mammography unit was there this past year. We try every year to include something new in the Wellness Expo. And this past year, we had the mobile mammography was new, and we also had a relaxation room, which was very popular with everyone. The new things that we hope to add in the one coming up for this year, which will be on March 23rd, is components of a pre-retirement seminar. We held one this summer, and it was very popular, so we're going to try to incorporate some of that into the Wellness Expo, again, as part of our financial wellness. Our website has recently been updated, the wellness website. There are a lot of links and resources here for employees as well to help them on their journey to a healthier lifestyle. And we have recently partnered with Optum to provide their Rally portal, and you can see the logo here in 3 different places. So employees, if they go to this website, can click on any of those logos, and it will take them directly to the Rally site. And we are very excited to have Jason Hagan with us here this evening from Optum to show us a little bit about how the Rally portal works. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
I'm Jason Hagan, Business Development for Optum. I want to thank you, Chairman Hunter and Dr. Parker, members of the board, for allowing me to come in and talk to you a little bit about what Optum does, what the program looks like, and then why, although you've been building a culture of health for 5 years and incentivizing employees and trying to get them engaged, why you needed to make a switch and why you're very talented and discerning human resources department chose Optum for their partner with you in their wellness program. Now, some of you that were in the communications forum last week, Dr. Parker, Mr. Brown, Mr. Wright, that saw the desktop version of the Rally application, have seen a little bit about how it works. But as we know, engaging people today is about mobile technology. It's about getting people engaged by being able to utilize their smartphone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and link in from my phone, and this is actually what it looks like in your app when you download for Newport News Public Schools. Give me just a second as it connects in. There we go. So when you first get into the app, the thing that you'll notice is the large iconography, the kind of gamification of being in a wellness program, being in a mobile application. We know how important it is for people to be engaged in what they're doing, to have something that's fun to use, that's easy to click through and to go through. The very first thing you do is you get in and you start with the Rally Health Survey. So the Rally Health Survey is your health risk assessment, but we call it a survey because that resonates with people more. You're more likely to go and do a survey than you are to do a health risk assessment. It's easy to get through, easy to scroll through, and it answers some questions that start the very first step of a wellness program, which is awareness. The awareness piece of it are finding out kind of how you feel, how your body feels. And that'll get you to, after you've completed the survey, to your Rally age. Your Rally age isn't your actual age, but it's how you feel, as opposed to your chronological age. The questions that start in are just simple questions about your lifestyle, about your demographics, your body. All of these are scientifically based, and these answers will, once compiled, will give you what your Rally age is. So you start off and you answer what your sex is, you're going to answer your height, your weight, some other things, where you live, rural, suburban areas, how your outlook is on life. It's going to ask you about your habits as far as going to see a doctor or a provider if you have a clinician, because that's important that you have a clinician and they maybe have a plan of action for you. It'll ask you about resources within your workplace, how these help, and you have lots of resources and benefits as you answer these. Your employees should be answering that they have lots of resources to help them to improve their physical health. As you continue through these, workplace provides resources. It'll start to ask you questions about your habits. So it'll ask you about whether you're a smoker, whether you're a drinker. The survey is about 60 to 100 questions. The reason that there's a variance in the amount of questions is that as you go through the survey, depending on what you answer, it may ask you additional questions. Right. If I'm not a smoker, it doesn't need to ask me any more questions. If I am a smoker, then it'll ask me how many times I smoke a day, or if I used to smoke, how long ago I quit smoking, and continue on down that path. In order to compile these things and come up with the Rally age for you. It'll ask you questions about your eating habits as well. Now, when we get into the questions that have to do with your biometric screenings, I know that there's been issues in the past with employees saying, is this information confidential? I don't want people to have this information, worried about privacy and HIPAA. Right when you first log into the Rally portal, it will have some HIPAA information, some privacy information. It says that we're compiling this information in here so that we can better serve you within the app and within your wellness program, but that information is private. We send aggregate information to Newport News Public Schools, so we can send how many people have done the survey, or what are the missions that are the most important to people, but it's not going to say that Dr. Parker's BMI is such and such to anyone. Okay. which he appreciates, right? So there is privacy that's included into it, but you can see your personal information within the application by answering this. And one of the really cool things about the app is that if you don't know the answers to these, then you can leave it blank. And when you complete your biometric screening, it will pre-populate it into the survey for you. And then you can see those health records and keep those within the application for yourself. It is. So you can populate these in if you haven't done the screening yet, but once you do the screening, it's going to override it into what your actual results are. Now, as you go through this process of Rally, and one of the key features of Rally and of utilizing this and the innovation of the mobile application and this Rally digital engagement experience is that not only does it tailor certain missions and activities within the application toward your answers, but it also gives you rewards in an internal reward structure that's fulfilled by Optum and by Rally. So the importance of this is that you have a program that rewards you with certain rewards, premium reductions or wellness credits that you receive for taking certain activities. But within Rally, if you're not in the health plan, you can still get in here and utilize the services of the application and then get coins which reward you in the marketplace or by entering sweepstakes or other fashions that are outside of the employer rewards that are just automatically built into the application. Not only does this keep people motivated after they finish their program, so I'll go through here really quickly. You can see that the Rally survey answers some questions. At the end, it gives you your Rally age. Hopefully your Rally age is younger than your real age, but oftentimes it's not. So if your real age is 40 and your Rally age says you're 43, then it will point towards suggestions and a plan towards getting your age down. If it's below, then it'll say, hey, great job, but these are still some things that you can work on. Why don't you choose some missions and some challenges that you can enter into that will help you to achieve your health outcomes and your goals. So after you've finished entering in, getting your Rally age, then this leads you into the section where you can choose your goals that you want to attack. So we'll say that we're trying to look at losing weight. We would click on the losing weight, and then it would take us into missions. From here, I'm going to go into your Rally app. So this is really the Rally application for a Newport News Public Schools employee. I'm not going to call out who let me into their Rally app so that I can maneuver through here for you to see it.
Where's the BMI?
Well, actually, you haven't done the biometric screening yet, so it's not in there yet. But it does have some information here, the Rally age and things that I'll skip over because some people do know whose this is. But as you first enter into Rally, it's trying to, oh, that's another thing. So within the Rally app, there are challenges and there are steps and things like that you can do. You can do 5,000 steps a day. And I believe that might be one of the ones that's in here, 10,000 steps a day. And this is integrated in with a wearable device. So your Fitbit will sync in with the Rally application and automatically load your steps. If you don't have a Fitbit or a Jawbone or a wearable device, then you can use your phone. It has some tracking within Google or within Android phones, within iPhones, that allows for when you take steps for it to track it within the app, and you can use your phone if you don't have one of those devices. So that's what you just saw when it stopped and it was syncing, is that my phone is trying to sync with her Fitbit. So, but within the application, the first thing that you see in the dashboard are the missions that you can do. So there are different missions that you can sign up within the goals. The goal was to lose weight. It takes you to certain things that you can do daily, and these are daily and weekly missions. In order to complete a mission, it's a 4-week period of time. For you within the plan, Newport News Public Schools, you have to complete 3 missions over a 4-week period of time. You check into these missions every day, and it gives you coins. So I'm checking into her sugar intake. It says nailed the mission, and you see there where you got Rally coins. Those coins go up to the top. You can go into the marketplace, and you can use those coins to receive discounts. So right there I can click in that I'd like to get movie tickets, and then I can utilize my coins in order to get discounts for movie tickets. Or I can go in to the application and I can say I'd like to get 25% off of Neutrogena and click into the application and then get 25% off coupon. Some of these will give you a coupon you can print out. Other ones will actually take you and link you into a site. So if I go and I get Under Armour gear and I get a discount on it, I can link directly into Under Armour's website and then purchase what I want. And I don't know that I should be promoting Under Armour while I'm here, but they happen to be one of our sponsors. So, and we have a number of them. So it's not just the ones you see, but there are literally hundreds of different discounts. There's also different ways that you can utilize your coins. You can go into auctions. Auction is literally like eBay. You just go in and you bid on something. Sweepstakes, where you take a chance, kind of like a lottery system where you say, I'm going to enter in and I'd like to enter for an Uber gift card, and then I have a chance at winning this gift card. So these are the internal reward systems outside of the employer reward system that keep people motivated and engaged in continuing in the program. Now you also have within the reward system your employer rewards. Your employer rewards has the incentive tracking within the mobile application that shows you how far along you are in the process. You can see they're already 80% along in the process because they completed a number of activities and actions. They went to their healthy events, they did their 2 preventative screenings, completed a city walk already, and completed their health survey. Now to get your reward, you have to do 100%. So still gonna have to do the biometric screening, which will give her the 35% in order to reach her entire goal. It also has the social aspect of engagement in it. So my rally age is 2 years below my age. He's laughing, he's like, you made that up. I appreciate that.
You hesitate.
But if my coworker that's sitting next to me, it's a way of socializing and engaging. Hey, what was your rally age? Of keep people engaged in the wellness program. So all of these things are built to try and motivate and engage people and keep them working towards healthier outcomes. So let's see, there are challenges as well. So you can go in and join a challenge, and they're walking challenges, wearing device or using your phone. And then as you're in the challenge, it'll show you how far you are within the challenge on a walking path, essentially, of wherever you choose. So in the Hollywood Hustle, it would show you where you are and where you fall in Hollywood. If you're doing Sin City, it would show you in Las Vegas. There's a one in DC, and it's an actual map that shows you where you are in the path and what place you're in those challenges. So a number of different functionalities in there to keep people engaged, keep people fit, keep people moving, while they're earning rewards internally and throughout your program. So.
Good.
Awesome. Okay. Do you have any questions?
Any questions?
It's not mine. Go ahead.
That's right.
But I do have already loaded mine, and I will tell you, it's a lot of fun, even for an older person like myself. And again, the purpose was to try to find something that would engage all of our staff, whether they had the health insurance with us or not. And we hope we'll have people focused on being healthy and obviously then able to serve kids better. So, does anyone have any questions? Or?
How does the staff access it? Do they get an email to alert them, or is it through that portal that we have
sent communications out to all staff already,
okay.
In a variety of different ways, announcing the tool. It's also on the website, as you saw. As all of you may also access it if you like to. You will need to get your employee number, so you'll have that. But if you'd like to join as well, you're certainly available to do that as well. But yeah. Communications are going out. The leads, actually, that's why Jason's here. He's here tomorrow to meet with all of our wellness leads. And so he will be doing a demonstration, and they, of course, will be the ambassadors in the school to really, in the sites, to get the word out and to help people load the app and figure out how to use it. And not bad. So it's a lot of fun.
Thank you for a report, and I do believe this board will take that challenge.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to move the agenda. The next 3 items, 5.03, attendance report, 5.04, membership report, and 5.05, construction report will be part of your packages. Do you have any questions on those? There being none, we'll move to 5.06, comments by the superintendent. Dr. Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to, thank Delegate Mullins for coming in this evening and presenting this commendation to Newport News Public Schools. It meant a lot to have an elected official come in to recognize the important work that's taken place over the past few years in Newport News. I think we saw a presentation last board meeting that over 3 years ago, I think we were at 11% of schools accredited, and now we're moving up rapidly ahead in the 60th percentile. So I think that just speaks to the work that our teachers, that our administrators, that our central office staff are doing to really put some instrumental things in place to address the needs of our students and improve student achievement. And we're continuing that work. I saw firsthand as I visited several schools that we've been walking around, And I can point to some of the great instruction that I've seen. At Achievable Dream, I saw probably the best example of word study I've ever seen. In one classroom with a teacher working with a smaller group of students. Went over to Heritage High School, and great instruction taking place, engaging activities with students. And I know we have a lot of pockets of excellence, but the good thing about that is every one of those examples that I'm observing, the first question I ask is, what professional development did you receive to impact the instruction that I saw? And we definitely can attribute it to our coaches and our central office team that are going out and providing the professional development necessary to impact teaching and learning across the division. So I think we have still a lot of work to do, but it's just refreshing to see someone come in who is external of our school division, who has children, has vested interest in our success, recognize the important work that's taking place. So I thank him for that. The one presentation that stood out, I think, this evening was our presentation on bullying and harassment awareness. And I just want to reemphasize the importance that our brand, Stand Up, means that everyone needs to stand up in order to improve the culture for students and for staff in our school division. We specifically and very purposefully targeted how do students stand up, how do parents stand up, how do leaders stand up, and how does the community stand up? Because when you talk about issues of bullying and harassment and awareness, everyone has a purpose in that process. And we're encouraging our students to report it and address it. And we're looking forward to the expansion of the elementary programs. Expect Respect in the middle and the elementary schools. We want our parents to be fully aware how to report bullying. Okay, and to work with our school administrators when they experience bullying, whether it's in the home or whether their child is the bully. We want them to work with and partner with our school administrators to learn healthy ways for students to engage each other and to work together. And we saw our outline of the actual process that our administrators and our school staff utilize when bullying is reported. So our school staff need to be consistent in their processes and when bullying is reported, and continue that loop when we have ongoing issues to ensure that our students' emotional well-being is taken care of. And I would like to speak to the emotional well-being of our students. When students are bullied, that there is an emotional impact. And we have to be cognizant of that in ensuring that our students' emotional well-being is taken into consideration under these circumstances. So with that being said, I really want to thank the team and school leadership for the presentation and student advancement for the presentation, and for their efforts this month and throughout the year in ensuring that we are well on our way to creating an environment where students are safe and respected. And thank you very much for that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. We'll move to item number 6. Are there any cards? There being none, we will move the agenda to matters from the board. And first, we'll have our student representative, Ms. Jones.
First of all, I just thank everybody that came and gave a presentation, the podium presentation. They were all amazing, and thank you to Delegate Mike Mullins for that awesome plaque. I would just like to notify to everybody that the notifications for the SAGE students for this year's 2018-2019 SAGE board will be mailed out this week. So they will be that means that we'll be moving along. So our first SAGE meeting will be held on October the 31st. I would also like to notify the board of something I'm really excited about. As some of you may or may not know, I am also on the Mayor's Youth Commission, and every year the City of Newport News does take several students from the Mayor's Youth Commission to the National League of Cities Conference, and I was honored to be selected to be a participant in that conference, where we'll be traveling to Los Angeles, California, November 7th and 10th. So, awesome. Thank you. I'm really excited about that. I also got my first college admission this past weekend at the scholarship.org college fair to Coppin State University up in Maryland. Yeah. So I'm very excited about that. And thank you again to all of the presentations. They were amazing. And those are my comments for tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Dr. Best.
Good evening, everyone. I just have a few comments. I'd like to thank the Education Association for your plants for last month and for your red T-shirts, and thank you for all that you do for the teachers and being the voice for the teachers in Newport News. for the young lady that presented for the gifted programs. Well, I would like to just thank her as well. Many times when people think of a school division with demographics like Newport News, they don't think about talented and gifted students, but we have some very talented and gifted students in the city of Newport News, and I just want them to know that we will take this serious, and we're proud of our students for Newport News. As we go into the closing of October and Bullying Prevention Month, even though we celebrate it during the month of October, we just will continue to push all the things that our students are learning and doing to reduce or possibly even extinguish bullying from our schools. And just a reminder for our parents and everyone that's looking on television, you have one of the strongest tools that impact bullying, and that is that phone and the means that your children have access to social media. So I just encourage parents to make sure that you are aware of where your students go on social media, what they're saying, what they're receiving, because you do have a lot of control as far as social media is concerned. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Best. Ms. Simons.
Good evening, everyone. I was really delighted to attend the Virginia School Board Association Legislative Conference with Lisa Searles-Law and my colleague Douglas Brown. It was a really great event. We heard from Brian Moran, the Secretary of Homeland Security for the state of Virginia, and the state is really doing a lot to look at security in our schools. And they had implemented a few things that I didn't know about, and I just wanted to share. They are doing safety audits in schools, and they have procedures where every school has a school safety team. In every school, even in Newport News, we have these school safety teams. And they did some surveys, and they found that of all of the reports of incidents in schools in Virginia, that actually half of them were threats to self. So that's concerning to all of us, to make sure we keep an eye on our children and that they are not doing themselves harm. They also found that fighting incidents are decreasing across Virginia. Weapons were decreasing. Students that have access to guns was actually down quite a bit. And students being afraid decreased from 12% to 3%. So I think we are making progress, and I think the awareness of bullying really does help us have these conversations with our students about what it means to feel safe at school and what it means to be part of a school family. So I'm really excited about the presentations tonight, and I want to thank everyone for the hard work that everybody is doing across the school system.
Thank you, Ms. Simons. Thank you. Mr. Ely.
I would like to take this time to thank everybody who presented tonight, as well as thank Chief Drew for the amazing presentation that he did earlier today in our work session. It's amazing the opportunities that he wants to provide to our schools, with the partnership he wants to provide to our school system, as well as with the Achievable Dream. So I'm very excited about the innovativeness that our city is, the direction that we're moving in. And just, that's about it.
Thank you, Mr. Ely. Mr. Vice Chair, Mr. Brown.
All right. Well, good evening. Before we meet again, there will be the Virginia School Board Association Annual Conference, and so I'm looking forward to going to that conference and seeing many of my colleagues there, learning from other school board members. There's always a tremendous amount that we take away and we learn. And as my colleague Shelley Simons mentioned, the Virginia School Board Association had their legislative conference this last month. I did learn quite a bit. And that was the facts that were shared there were very striking, that a child is more likely to kill themselves than they are to harm another student. That's actually the more probable outcome and the outcome that we want to guard against the most. And that still in the research that I've looked at, counselors play the largest role in helping to stem that tide. So that's I think is the important tool that we want to attack the problem with, is an increase in a focus on school counseling, and then as well in that tool bag, extracurricular activities, getting kids more involved, especially at that middle school and elementary school level. That's why I mentioned to Chief Drew when he came this evening how excited I was about his push to expand the number of activities that youth can get involved in the community through Police Athletic League and other things that we can do. So anything that we can do to keep kids involved in activities and extracurriculars is a real benefit to their well-being and their health, and I support that. Also wanted to personally thank Mr. Bowen for donating the airplane to Denby High School. That is a really beautiful plane. We saw the pictures of that, so I'll definitely be sharing that with other folks on social media, because that's a really nice thing that Mr. Bowen did. And anybody else that wants to donate, you saw how easy it was. If you give the donation, we'll vote on it, and and get it accepted in same night, right? You bring it down here. So anyone who wants to donate a car or airplane, those are ways that kids really do. We talk about career and technical education. That is a way to give kids that hands-on career and technical education experience, is to donate items like that. So I hope more folks follow that example. I also wanted to thank Delegate Mullen as well. He's my delegate, and I always appreciate every time I see him, and I know how invested he is in our schools. Really appreciate him taking the time to come down and give us that award personally. And as you mentioned, it's not a trivial award. Very rarely do 140 delegates actually agree on something, and they agree that Newport News Public Schools is a great school division. That is an acknowledgement that should not go understated or unnoticed. People, you should really take a moment and really reflect on. We have 26 accredited schools, an additional 12 accredited with conditions. So that means all 38 schools have an accreditation, are accredited in some category or another. So that's just a tremendous achievement as well. You add on our 93% on-time graduation rate and our 2% dropout rate. Both are beating the state in both those categories. And it's just been a fantastic this last year. Every year has been fantastic. This last year has just been fantastic, setting records in terms of our dropout rate, going lower yet again, and that graduation rate remaining at that all-time high. So this year is only looking up. Let's go best in the nation. All right, and that is really where we are headed. So to be honored and recognized by the state of Virginia is a very big deal. So I hope that folks really pause and reflect on that, on how big of a deal that is. I want to thank the NNEA again for y'all. My plant is still alive. All right, and it's right in my office. And I had one of my staff members come in and say, "You water that plant every day?" Came in and asked me to. Yes, I water that plant every day. The plant's still alive, and I wear my red on Wednesdays as often as I can remember to do so. In support of public ed, we all should really take that time on Wednesday, I hope, and support public education. Take that time to think about that. I'm looking forward very much. In November, we're going to have our joint meeting. I want to thank the chairman and superintendent for working very hard to coordinate that. I know that took some tremendous amounts of coordination. Looked like November 20th is the tentative date. So we'll have, just before Thanksgiving, we're going to have a good time with council talking about our capital budget and getting a chance to answer any questions that have arisen or come up. I want everyone to know that I reach out to my council member and to both of my counterparts in the North, and I hope that everyone on this dais is doing the same as well. I know other folks are as well. So let there be no miscommunication. We want to get Huntington funded and get that school appropriated and built. As well, we need to build some additional schools. Look at our average building age. It's roughly 50 years old. And what's the lifespan of a school building? 50 years old. So we have a crisis. Replacing Huntington is going to move us away from the precipice of the cliff. And that would be that's the first step amongst several steps that need to take place to get our average building age down. We really need to get it down to less than 30 years old is what you really want to be on that average, that kind of replacement cycle. So with that, look forward to seeing you all at the conference next month.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Well, again, I guess I'm the last talk again between you and your bed or going home to eat or what have you. Anyway, there's great things happening in Newport News Public Schools. Again, I do want to reiterate and thank Chief Drew for an enlightening presentation and a partnership that definitely is well needed between the police department and the school system. I want to give, about 2 weeks ago, our grant writer is not here. No. I want to thank her. I had the pleasure of being there when Newport News Public Schools we were recipients of an $800,000 grant from the National Math and Science Initiative. And that's going to be, those are geared, I think, to the SOL testing. No, AP testing. AP testing. For those in particular, we have a high rate of our students are in the military, and with the frequent of them moving 5 and 6 times over a course of their schooling, one thing that's constant throughout is the AP exam throughout the country. And this particular grant will help us assist them in maintaining that those high grades and the pass rate for the AP exam. So again, congratulations to Newport News for receiving that $800,000, and hopefully we'll have more to come someday. I want to say thanks to Dr. Parker and our transportation and all the administration. Him and I spoke early in the morning on Friday morning when we had that Michael come through. That was unexpected, kind of, sort of. And so I know some of our folks who just got their power back on the other day. Mine was out for about a day and a half. Again, no complaints at all from my phone. I think the school and the administration handled it very well. Folks were notified in a timely manner. And that's very, very important about that communication. So I, myself, want to thank the school system and Dr. Parker and his team, anyone who was involved in ensuring that our kids were home safe as possible. So again, thank you for that. And again, I want to thank the NNEA for your red T-shirts. Red happens to be a particular good color for me and Dr. Parker and many folks out there. And so if I don't wear that T-shirt, I will remind myself on Wednesday to wear a red tie or a red pocket square in support of teachers and pay and increased budget for education. I believe that's all that we have today. So that being said, if there's no other questions or comments, there being none, I will adjourn this meeting.
Thank you.
That's why I was looking through that thing. I remember we said that before.